Welcome to Comic Talk 360. I'm J77. I'm not going to waste any time talking about the lineup of these films that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about Marvel, but I'm also going to talk about DC, more so with DC than Marvel, because Marvel, you know their plan, you know what they're destined to do, you know where they're going forward with both their movie properties as well as of properties that are going to be made especially for Disney Plus streaming. This is something that's been widely talked about. But the one thing you don't hear too much about is DC, and I'm actually going to talk about it not in a bad way, because I do feel that now that they decided to move away from trying to make this, extended universe that they was trying to do, I think they can actually focus on getting good quality movies and actually set up for a new Avengers film. We already know about the new Batman that's going to be coming out, as well as the person's playing it. A bit of a controversial selection, but I think people are underestimating Pattinson for a lot of reasons, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to stay focused on the Marvel Universe for one reason, because the lineup here is very interesting, as well as pretty much head scratching for me. And the reason why I say it is that a lot of these movies that's kind of coming out, I never heard before. A lot of shows that's going to be made for Disney Plus, I haven't heard before. Yes, I heard of Miss Marvel. I heard of She-Hulk, who didn't. But there are other shows that I'm like, basically, kind of curious about how this is going to turn out. What If is being one of them. So let's not waste any time here. Marvel has announced, of course, courtesy of Disney's D3 convention, 23 convention, about their new Phase 4 lineup. Now, the one thing that I've noticed here, that throughout the lineup, there hasn't been no new Avengers movie, and I think that's done intentionally. Personally, I don't think they need another Avengers film, at least not yet. I think they should take their time and establish some of these newer films that may or may not make or break this Phase 4. There are not all these films are guaranteed to be blockbusters. But nevertheless, I think they just should stay focused on those films, and then when the time comes, if they choose to make another Avengers film, which I don't think they will. I think they actually felt that the fourth Avengers film, which is Endgame, pretty much concluded the whole entire series, or at least the series of Captain America, the original four, and I say original for a reason. And pretty much most of the people involved in this, Iron Man, it's pretty much done. And I think that they want to move forward, move away from that now, and actually focus on individual stories with a few crossovers between these characters here and there. The first film I wanted to get into is Black Widow. Black Widow, I'm looking very forward for this film for a lot of reasons. One, they should have made a Black Widow years ago. I understand the excuses they kept making for Black Widow, for not making a Black Widow film, was mind-blowing, and I just couldn't understand it. In fact, I felt that she should have had, Scarlett Johansson should have her own film way before Captain Marvel should have came into the scene. I never understood why she got her own role, and it's not because of some of the comments she said or the big SAW versus anti-SAW. It was just the fact is that Scarlett Johansson paid her dues in more ways than none, and I felt that anyone who does any female in the Marvel Cinematic Universe deserved her own film was Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow character. It took them long, but finally we have it, and I'm very, very grateful that they actually is going to make this film. Little service note here: when they did the lineup, this was not in there. And I'm going to be very clear. And I was actually kind of upset by that. This was not in this lineup. I've looked at the film 3 times that where is Black Widow? Why is she not in this films? Even though they was talking about it, it didn't seem to enter their schedule. And not until D23 when it was actually announced that yes, Black Widow was going to be in her own film. It is going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do with Phase 4. This is going to be... I do want to see what they're gonna do with it, because again, this is not gonna go forward. It's gonna be pretty much a prequel or an origin story, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they work this out as Phase 4 begin. Another film that's coming up is Eternals. This film is actually coming out. Oh, by the way, Black Widow is scheduled for May 2020. We have the Eternals, which is scheduled to come out on November of 2020. The Eternals is something I really don't know anything about, so this will be pretty much going with a new, fresh set of eyes. If you guys know what this is, I like to please let me know. Is it a comic book worth picking up before watching the movie? Let me know. But according to the synopsis, the Eternals are a group of immortal aliens set for a task of protecting the universe and its inhabitants, just not from Thanos, apparently. This is actually bringing the idea of that inconsistency, which I can understand. But you know what? This is a new phase, so this is pretty much bringing in new characters. It didn't say it was check this out from the entire galaxy, so but like I said, that film is coming out in November 2020. Shai Khan, this has actually got a lot of people talking. And the Legend of the Ten Rings, people are very much talking about this very, very deeply, so this is actually going to be very interesting to see. Now this is coming out on February 2021, so this is already, they are pushing way beyond the 2020 lineup here. So Shai Khan on Shai Chan is going to be very interesting to see as that thing develops. This is the one that actually caused a lot of rough, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I wish politics wasn't this dominant on films that was never meant to be politically charred to begin with. Alright, they did this with Miss Marvel, which I kind of understand considering the stuff that was coming out of her mouth. But at the same time, can we at least just make a film? I don't care about your politics. I don't care where you stand. Just give me a good movie and I don't care. Thor, Love and Thunder is going to be released on November the 5th, 2021. Now, many people are not happy with this film because, again, a female is involved. Even though they wrote a female Thor years ago. I haven't heard too many people complain about that. Alright? This is a different take. And I'm not surprised considering the ending of Avengers 4. Can we see the film first before we start judging it? Immediately we're jumping on it saying this film is going to go woke and everything else. Calm down. We haven't even know the script yet. We don't even know what it's based on. Honestly, these are gods, or dummy gods, if you want to call it. That's all you need to know. Right? Is the film going to be good? That's all I care about. Is the film going to be entertaining? As long as it entertains me, and while I came out with a sense of enjoyment, does it really matter who's playing the royal Thor? And again, they had a female Thor in the comic books already. Whether the comic book is good or not is really irrelevant at this point. Please, enough with the SJW thing. Let's just go out and enjoy the film. Why must everything be a political stance on something? But nevertheless, this is one of the films that got pretty much people up in arms. According to this film, it was announced that Chris Hemsworth, Teresa Thompson, and Natalie Portman Tech Williams return as director in the theaters on November 5th. So Hemsworth is going to be in this film. But again, people are assuming it's going to be a female Thor, or it's a female Thor. Even if it is, so be it. Alright. I think it's going to be a love triangle between Natalie Portman and Teresa Thomas' character, but who knows? I mean, just enjoy the film. November 5th, 2021. Doctor Strange. This is one I'm actually very interested in seeing. The Multiverse Madness. The Multiverse of Madness, May 7th, 2021. So we got a few more years before this film is going to come out. The film will have Elizabeth Olsen, welcome back, Scott Derrickson, and Benedict Cumberbatch. So this is the film that he's going to be in, and I actually like the teaser font on this movie. It's beautifully done. I actually think it brings a little bit of an old school Victorian film style to it. I actually do enjoy it. We also have Blade, which is very interesting because Blade is a film That, in my honest opinion, besides Spider-Man, because a lot of people feel that Spider-Man was the one that brought a relevancy to comic books again, made it be more profitable. And that, in some ways, true. But Blade, in my opinion, have brought a sense of you don't have to always be kid friendly. You can be dark and still have the same effect. And I think the first two Blade films I enjoyed. Third one, not so much. But I'm curious and concerned for two reasons. One, Blade is in all the films that they made, the three films, was never a kid-friendly franchise. It was a dark, brutal franchise. And that what made Blade so unique. It was meant for adult audiences. This is not, the studio is Disney Studios. This is Marvel, run by Disney. Are we going to see that same dark character in this movie? My guess is no. They're already trying to make Deadpool into a more family-friendly PG-13 character. And look, I don't mind the PG-13 style as long as the film is good, but it does tend to take away what that character really is. He's not a hero. He's a hitman for hire in many ways. And Blade, to me, to have a PG-13 Blade, to me, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just make it animated. I don't see Blade being PG-13. I really don't. I just can't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they surprised me. I mean, how the hell? I didn't think Hellboy should have been the way it was, and that was rated R. Yet didn't stop it from being a bad film, and that's largely because it didn't have a story behind it. Let's see what happens with Blade. I mean, but like I said, I'd be lying to you if I said that I'm looking forward to the film. I'm not, technically not, for one reason. I don't think it's going to be the same Blade, which is not. I mean, it's going to be a different actor, of course, playing Blade. And already that's spawned controversy because they want to make him a Muslim, but doesn't bother me. I never really cared about his nationality to begin with. I just want him to destroy vampires. That's it. But it is interesting to see what they're going to do with this character. It is interesting to see where they take this character forward from here on out. So Blade, I don't have a release date. Can't really tell you where it is, but they are working on it. My concern is, will they keep that edginess that made Blade popular to begin with? And if they are going to be PG-13, how are they going to go about doing this without losing what made Blade popular in the first place? Because again, not all of Marvel's properties are meant to be family friendly. I'm just saying. Disney Plus films, here they are. There's actually, we're going to get to that in a minute, but I want to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Kind of a weird combo. I don't know what to think about this. I really don't know. I don't see these two ever being friends. I'm being honest with you. But who knows? For all we know, this could be make for an interesting scenario. Personally, I think they're trying to take a page off of Hobbs and Shaw. I see that. I don't know why. They have nothing to do with it, but to see Falcon with the Winter Soldier is, I would have seen Captain America with Winter Soldier, not the Falcon. So I guess the reason why, because of the ending of Phase 4, but I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can correct me, but I just don't see it. I really don't. Okay, now we got this situation here. Now let's get to some shows that pretty much caught my attention here. I believe this is for Disney Plus, but it says here it has Elizabeth Olsen playing in it and Paul Bettany. It is going to be streaming for Disney Plus on the spring of 2020. It's called WandaVision. Don't know how that's going to work. And by the way, the Falcon Winter Soldier is also going to be on Disney Plus as well. Kind of a little surprised by that, but that's what they're going for. WandaVision, I never heard of that. So if anybody want to give me an idea, be my guest. Loki. Surprised. I'm a little surprised that Loki is not a film. I'm a little bit surprised. It's going to be on streaming. How this will fare, I do not know. But a lot of people love Loki. A lot of people actually have made that character more popular than what even Disney expected, what Marvel expected. So that's going to be streaming exclusively on Disney Plus on the spring of 2021. What If? It's also going to be streaming exclusively for Disney Plus on the summer of 2021. We got Hawkeye, which I don't think it has a release date. I'm actually looking at it now, but it doesn't seem to have a release date. But it is Hawkeye. All right, it's going to be streaming in the fall of 2021. Makes me wonder what's in store for Disney Plus in 2020, because it does seem like a lot of their properties are not going to be released until another year. We also have Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. These will be to be determined. So these are shows that's not been determined yet, but they're all going to be in Disney Plus down the road, probably more likely 2021 or 2022. So there you have it, guys. I mean, that's your lineup right there. And again, no Avengers. No Avengers 5, guys. And I don't think they're going to make one anytime soon. Now, as much as I actually enjoy this lineup, and I am curious, it got me, thinking about the lineup, there's a few things I'm a little bit concerning about. One, we don't have Guardians of the Galaxy in this film. I don't know where they stand with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know there was a lot of very, very heated controversy with James Gunn being fired, rehired. So I don't know how that had affected the production of the series. But one thing is definitely certain. I checked it twice when it first was announced, then announced on D23. There is no there's no Volume 3 anywhere to be found in the schedule. Maybe it will be put in there, maybe not. I'm not too sure. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 doesn't seem to be shown anywhere in this film. Another thing that's also very interesting is Captain Marvel, despite what you may feel about the actress and what she has said in terms of political views, it was a moneymaker. Let's be realistic here. I mean, I know the DVD sales hasn't done that great, but in terms of theater release, it done what it's supposed to do. Yet it's not on the schedule. So that's very interesting. What's also not interesting is Black Panther. One of Disney's best films. Sorry, one of Marvel's best films. And it's not on the schedule, which I'm kind of surprised. I was a little bit taken about, wait, no Black Panther 2? I mean, they had talked about it, they have mentioned it, but it's not on the schedule. So I'm wondering, has something changed, or have they just taken a time with this film and probably be released at Phase 5, or are they going to be even released at all? It's something that could be possible, because I'm kind of curious. We don't have anything about the about Ant-Man. We don't see anything about that films so far. The Fantastic Four, which they had announced, and as part of Phase 4, is now not on the schedule. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not surprised the X-Men is not in here, because again, they're not officially have made the transaction yet. And they also have a movie that may or may not come out, that is The New Mutants. So there's a whole lot of stuff on their situation. The one thing it's more concerning is Black Panther to me. Black Panther was a very good film. One of Ryan Coogler's crowning achievements, and a film that really did inspire a lot of people across the globe. Personally, I like the film. I think it's a little bit overrated, not because it was bad, but because, number one, I've seen better from the director itself. I thought this film, as in my own personal opinion, was really carried by the villain more so than the hero. I didn't think the hero was that interesting at all. I liked how he betrayed him, but it wasn't like he really did actually went out and inspired me in somewhat. But the story was well told. The actors did a job. I thought Michael B. Jordan proved why he is slowly becoming a top draw for people in movies and in TV shows. To me, I thought, yeah, this is justified. Let's see how far they can take the story of Black Panther. Yet, to my surprise, both here and both in their Marvel announcements, they haven't mentioned it. So I am kind of curious on where they're going to go with that, and whether or not we're going to see another Black Panther. My guess is yes, but it may be a little while longer as they get these films rolling. As for Miss Marvel, there has been some reports that Marvel Studios are not very happy with some of the stuff that that the actress have said, and I think that actually turned a lot of people off to even buying on DVD. Even though a lot of people did see the film, it wasn't as if this film was highly praised. I don't know if that was due to the fact that many people thought the film story was underwhelming, or the simple fact is that many people were still turned off by what the actress was saying during interviews, or a little bit of both. But the bad press didn't go unnoticed for Marvel, and they really don't. The last thing they want to have them have some kind of political view, especially when they really do want to just make films. One thing I give the people behind the production of these movies, more so than I do with Lucasfilms, and Lucas will learn a lot from how they handle stuff, is they don't try and put themselves in the spotlight when it comes to political agenda. They really don't. That's one thing I got to give them high praises for. They make movies, they make good movies, they make fun movies, and even though you may not like this movie, you may like the other movie, and it doesn't really affect their production. Unlike what Lucasfilms did, when they are constantly playing into this political correctness, which people just got so sick and tired of, that yeah, it was one of the major factors that why Star Wars have dwindled over the past few years. Was this hope with the Mandalorian and the new Rise of Skywalker, well as even Obi-Wan. People start to reunite again and actually begin to enjoy these films just by being films, and not have to worry about the political nonsense that was being spewed over the last 2 years. I cannot say that with Marvel, and I think one of the things that I think has happened is that they actually tone that down. Don't be surprised if they're going to continue toning that down, because again, they just want to make good quality films. They don't want to get involved of the nonsense that is the political climax that has plagued Hollywood for the last few years. With that being said, it's an interesting lineup. It's a very, very interesting lineup. Like I said, there are films that I'm concerned about. There's other films I just can't wait to see. But as far as the Avengers 5, I don't think this is going to be lead up to any Avengers. I don't see how they can do that, especially when you're missing key elements of the characters. Iron Man being one. You also have Captain America. That's a big one. And now you got to add Spider-Man to the mix, because again, as we look at this lineup, there is no Spider-Man as well. But that seemed to be understandable now when you look at it, considering what has went down between Sony and Disney. With that being said, I do feel that the lineup is good. I do think that the buzz is positive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Phase 4, as well as if there is a Phase 5. Now that I'm done with talking about Marvel, let's talk about DC, because DC, while we know the plans and the blueprints of Marvel Comics, as well, or in this case Marvel Studio, nobody knows what's going on with the DC universe. Nobody knows if the DC universe is even going to continue, or are they going to just be on the far side. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of stuff that's speculation, but these are some more rumors than actual films that are going to be released. So let's talk about some of the stuff that we do know. What we do have an idea, a guaranteed fact. These are the films that we know is coming out. One, Aquaman. Alright, that film is going to come out later on down the road. Joker, you already know that film is going to be coming out. The trailer has been done. Bird of Prey, for what I understand, there's a bit of a reshoot going on, but that film is going to be coming out. Wonder Woman 1984. We also know that the Batman, which will be coming out in 2021. The first new Batman in a while since the Christopher Nolan series. We also know that Suicide Squad 2 is going to be coming out. So that's going to be very interesting to see in 2021. We also know that we have The Flash, which was pretty much confirmed and then not confirmed, but confirmed again. I think there's going to be a Flash film. When it's going to come out, I do not know. So this is going to be very interesting to see what goes on with that. Also, the film that has actually been talked about is The Trench. I could be saying this wrong, but that's to be determined. We also have a possible Wonder Woman 3 that has actually been talked about again. I don't like when productions do this, when they talk about a film, a sequel that's going to come out before the other film come out. I don't like actually bringing that up. Here's the film that has not been confirmed and most likely will not. Cyborg. That film has been dropped, and for good reason. A lot of the actors was not very happy. A lot of actors actually quit. There was a report that the actor who played Cyborg in the Justice League film was not very happy with what's going on and basically have walked out. Green Lantern's Corps actually, if this is true, it's going to make this film, I'm actually for it, because I think that the Green Lantern Corps is far more fascinating than the Green Lantern itself. I actually want to hear the origin, the story behind them, how many members are there. It makes for interesting storytelling, bar none. But yet these are just rumors, so we don't know too sure if they're actually gonna do it. They have been talking about a Batgirl film a long time ago. I don't think this film is gonna be released. I really don't. The same thing with Nightwing. I want Nightwing to be released. I really do, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. I really don't know. Justice League Dark. I think there's an animated film with the same name. Not to be confused with the animated film with the same name. Justice League Dark has been in the works for some time. Don't know if it's going to come out. I really don't. It will not be with the same cast, I can tell you right now. It will not be with Henry Cavill, as well as his name, who escapes me. I do apologize. I should not have Ben Affleck. I should not have blacked out on that character, but he's been out for so long. Deathstroke. That is a story they've been talking about for a while. Shazam 2, Black Adams, Lobo, New Gods, Gotham City, Syringe. I don't know if any of these films are going to become. Harley Quinn and the Joker. This has actually been canceled, so I don't know if that's actually still a possibility, as well as the other Joker starring Jared Leto. I do not see that happening. Supergirl, Black Hawk, Blue Beetle I want. The Blue Beetle I actually want to see, as well as Plastic Man. If anything, this would be a good film for the little ones, Plastic Man. Especially when he has a very interesting story in itself. If you go by the original origin, he was a crook who turned a good guy and ended up with super powers. So, like I said, a lot of the stuff that they are showing on this lineup has its possibilities. Doesn't guarantee it's going to come out, especially since the disaster of what is called the DCEU. However, I'm going to be very honest here. I am not concerned about DC right now. I think that the stuff they're doing right. I have better faith now with them than I did a few years back. And the reason why is they did the right thing of ditching trying to get to compete with Marvel in such a way that it was actually rushing these films rather than flushing out the stories. I feel as long as they continue to flush out these characters right, I think it will be a good thing for DC, not a bad thing. I think this is something that I think DC needs to do, something I've been trying for them to do for years. And now I feel they're finally in that situation of doing it. But I feel they need to take their time doing it. I feel they need to not rush this kind of this treatment. And I feel that they must keep focus on what's in store. I think they need to be focused on actually getting these characters, flushing out these characters, really flushing out the universe they have, what type of universe they have, because keep in mind, DC has so many different versions of their characters. It's not even funny. You got the Arrowverse going on, you got the DC universe with their streaming. That's a whole different series on itself. You have some of the stuff going on that is not part of the DCU. You got the Alfred Pennyworth series. I believe that's on the some Apex series. You have the Gotham series that just ended. You also have Supergirl in the Arrowverse. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I feel that if you're gonna do this version, it's very only fair that you actually focus on this universe and what kind of universe you want this films to be. We've still got Wonder Woman from the Justice League, as well as Aquaman. But now, what else can we do with this series? We already know Shazam is part of this universe. But right now, like I said, you didn't need to see the Justice League or any of the films. You just saw Shazam, and it actually worked. They had a good film for the fans with Aquaman. People actually liked how they presented Wonder Woman. So basically, just keep up with that kind of scenario, and I think you'll be fine. I think there's nothing wrong but giving these films standalones and actually work from there. And I think if they only do that, as long as they keep doing that, I think DC will be fine. Right now, I don't know the official schedule yet. I just know about a few films that are going to be coming out, and these are the few films I think they're going to be focused on. And that's so be it. Fine, rightfully so. Focus on these films. Don't worry about these films. Keep working on trying to build these characters. I do want to see some of the characters they have mentioned in this film. I definitely want to see Plastic Man. I definitely want to see the Green Lantern Corps. I definitely want to see Nightwing. But here's other characters I think that I want to see. Now, I want to hear your opinion on this. I want to see the Question. I think it's a very interesting concept with him. I think there's a story that's very fascinating about him. I want to know more about him. And I do feel that this is the good times to do it. The Question will be very, very interesting. I know a lot of people want to try and compare the Question to Rorschach, but I think it's a little unfair. That's a totally different comic series on its own, grounded in an alternate reality. So you can't really, I don't really want to bring those two into the same room and try and make a comparison. But I do want to see the Question. I also want to see Tim Drake's Robin. Notice I say Tim Drake's. Tim Drake's Robin, to me personally, was the best thing they could have done to the Batman universe. He is his own person. He has his own story that is so fascinating. To me, there's nothing more praise I can give for the Tim Drake Robin in the comic books. I enjoyed reading them when it was had its high run. I want to see how they would do Tim Drake in the Batman universe if in fact he ever got any plans at all to bring in Tim Drake in there, whether it's for the Titans or just on this. But I do want to see how it works. I do want to see a Tim Drake's Robin on the big screen. I don't mind seeing the Batgirl, but I do believe you have to have the right character to do it. I don't think just anybody can play her. So I do think Batgirl needs to be played by a very well young actress. I don't have anything in the mind, and that's the problem. I don't think anybody can pull on the cape and cow, but wouldn't mind seeing that. But you know what other character I also want to see in terms of female heroes? I want to see Power Girl. Power Girl is fascinating to me. For a person, and fascinating because he is part of Superman's family. She's Kryptonian. And which is kind of funny considering that we always say Superman's the last son of Krypton, when a whole bunch of Kryptonians did in fact survived. Two of them happen to be Supergirl and Power Girl. I would love to see how Power Girl is in this series. I like to see what she can offer. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. So I actually liked her in the animated series that they were doing. And by the way, just for the service note, if I gotta choose between Marvel animated stuff versus DC, I'm thinking DC anytime. I think DC. One thing DC always had the edge on is they have great movies in the animation department bar none. It's not even comparison. That's just my opinion, of course. But I would like to see Power Girl in this series. I would like to see how that character develop. I also like to see characters that we probably didn't even heard of or was never really introduced. And characters that really had a grittier story to them, but was toned down when it got into animated series. One of them happened to be Static Shock. I don't mind seeing Static Shock back in the big screen, but I actually want the grittier version, not the one that I've seen on television. I'm being honest with you. I want to see that version more so than anything else. So there you go. Those my things that I'm actually looking for DC. But I also want DC to do it right. I want DC to take their time, and I think for the most part, especially with their DC Universe streaming service, there is definitely a need for content, but I also feel the need for quality in their content. Work on them, take your time, do it right, and I guarantee you fans will go talking about it. I think they're doing the right thing with Aquaman and with Shazam and Wonder Woman. I feel they should need to continue down that path. And really, honestly, at this point, don't worry about what Marvel's doing. All right, don't even consider what Marvel's doing. Just worry about the stuff that you have, and not worry about about competing with another company. Just work about those films. Work about keeping these films up, and then you'll start seeing some positive result for change. It's something that DC has not done in a long time. With that being said, that's it. That's all I got to say about the time. I know it took a lot longer than usual for this episode, but I wanted to talk about the two things. Again, I'm more curious what DC is doing, because Marvel, again, their schedule is set in stone. DC is not. But at the same time, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as, okay, they don't have a schedule. Maybe that's good for them not to have one. Maybe they need to just take your time, one film at a time. And let's be realistic. As far as I'm concerned about that cinematic universe, it's dead and buried. Nobody talks about it. Nobody mentions it. DC's not acknowledging it. They're just going in a whole different direction. They press the reset button. And to me, with the film that came out, is that part of the reset button? I have no problem. As for Pattinson being Batman, listen, guys, I don't have a problem with him being Batman. I really don't. I think people will be fine. Like I said, when it comes to playing that role, you either have a good Batman or you have a good Bruce Wayne. So tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, he could be a good Bruce Wayne, for all I know. And again, before anybody said, "Oh, but he played in Twilight," which if that's your excuse that that's why he can't play Batman, then oh man, poor you. Because I remember people complaining about Michael Keaton being Batman in 1989 because he played in Mr. Mom, even though I think people forgot he also played in Beetlejuice and other films for that matter. And I think that I think that he's going to be just fine. He's going to be a different Batman. No puns about it. But it would be an interesting Batman. Look, I wanted Ben Affleck to come back. I really did. I think he did a fine job. I think it was the only saving grace in the Justice League. But personal demons aside, I think that really, have it pretty much influenced both Warner Brothers as well as Ben Affleck himself to part ways. There was just a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes, even stuff that we still have not gotten an answer for. Keep in mind, he was supposed to direct the Batman movie, and that fell through. So we don't even know what it is. So was it the fact that what was going on with his personal life? Was it the fact that he fell out of favor from Warner Brothers, or just he himself just didn't feel to do the character anymore? So it really all depends. I do know one thing though: Ben Affleck has not been the same since that movies. He hasn't really been anything that is that's eye opener or that people want to see. He has made a movie, but it really went on the radar completely. So Pattinson, for all we know, could actually shine about this film. It's just a matter of time to see what he's gonna do and how he plans to move forward. But in my own opinion, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to do. It's been Batman pretty much hasn't been a film on Batman for a while. So let's see what happens. To me, calm down. Let the man Let's see a trailer first. Let's see what they got first before we actually put judgment. And remember, those who are saying that Michael Keaton was the best Batman, a lot of people didn't want him. A lot of people didn't want him at the time. And almost he didn't get the job. For what I understand, Jack Nicholson was supposed to get it, and Jack Nicholson was getting being the Joker. So that worked out for the best for both of them. So that's just my opinion on that. What's yours? It's J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.